On Wednesday, stock markets crashed, triggered by a big warning from NVIDIA that unsettled the global technology sector, alongside warnings expressed by Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell regarding the economic repercussions of tariffs, which heightened anxiety among jittery investors. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell by 908 points, equivalent to a 2.1% decrease. The S&P 500 experienced a 3% drop, primarily driven down by the information technology sector. The Nasdaq declined by 4.3%, moving closer to bear market territory again. Nvidia shares plummeted by 10%, marking its worst performance since January, following the company's announcement of a $5.5 billion quarterly charge associated with the export of its H20 graphics processing units to China and other countries. In a regulatory filing, Nvidia indicated that the U.S. government mandated a license for the shipment of chips from the U.S. to China. Additionally, the stock faced further pressure after the New York Times reported that the administration of President Donald Trump was initiating measures to restrict the operations of the Chinese startup DeepSeek, which relies on Nvidia for its chip supply. Other semiconductor manufacturers experienced declines following Nvidia's lead, with the VanEck Semiconductor ETF, the SMH, falling over 6%. AMD saw a decrease of more than 8%, while Micron Technology dropped by more than 3%. Contributing to the overall downturn in the semiconductor sector was a disappointing earnings report from ASML, which resulted in a decline of over 7% in its U.S.-listed shares. During afternoon trading, stocks fell to the lowest levels of the session after Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell indicated that President Donald Trump's tariffs could present challenges for the central bank. In a question and answer session, Powell noted that these tariffs could lead to increased inflation in the short term and are likely to move us further away from our goals. We may encounter a difficult situation where our dual mandate objectives are in conflict, Powell stated in prepared remarks at the Economic Club of Chicago. Should this happen, we would assess how far the economy is from each objective and potentially verifying timeframes in which those gaps might be expected to close. Financial markets have been unsettled since Trump announced tariffs on numerous countries earlier this month. Although some of these tariffs were suspended for 90 days last week, China was not included in the reprieve. Over the weekend, Trump announced an exemption for tariffs on smartphone and PC imports, although he later suggested that this exemption might be temporary. Since the Trump administration first introduced its reciprocal tariffs on April 2nd, both the S&P 500 and Nasdaq Composite have declined by more than 7%, while the Dow has experienced a loss of approximately 6%.